I'm I'm super excited to take a dip into your world, mate, because the whole kettlebell scene is I wouldn't say completely out of my depth, but also it's so left field. I've never really paid too much attention to it. So how did you get into that, man?
'Cause I don't know. I wasn't big into weightlifting, so I guess kettlebells was always kind of like part of my workout routine.
Mm,
But I got like heavy into it with COVID. I mean, COVID
mm,
kind of forced us to get deeper into stuff because we had limited equipment, so you had to make do with what you had.
hmm Have you
And
gone full blown in the business now? Have you gone full blown like this is who I am, this is what I do?
as far as what, like kettlebells,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, I guess so from like a business standpoint. But yeah, I still indulge in other weightlifting when I get a chance. I haven't really recently because we still have mass protocol here,
Mm.
so it's kind of tough to do that and go to the gym with barbells. I just rather work out in my apartment or my apartment gym.
Well, you know, a kettlebell will last you a lifetime.
And you can do a lot of things with it. So it's
Do a
like,
lot of
what's
things
the
with it.
point? What's the point of everything else? It doesn't really.
Mm.
It,
It's the versatility of it too, right? Like you can literally do anything and
yeah.
it'll hit you in it'll hit I know it sounds really cliche, but it'll hit you in ways that you never felt before. You know what I
No,
mean?
it definitely does. It forces you to address issues with yourself and your body that normally you didn't even know you have because you only train with the barbell.
Mm.
And there's ways to just push through lifts without realizing you got limitations.
Yeah, we had I don't know if it's over in the States, but we had a I guess it's like a government governing body, like I don't know how they describe it, but it's called Strength Matters, and they just teach everyone up through kettlebells, right? And they would host their seminars out of the gym I was coaching at,
Oh yeah.
and I'd
So
kind of
we got a few different ones here. I think one of them is Strong First, and then another one is like RKC or something like that.
yeah,
But
yeah.
we got a couple of those here.
Mm. I just watched some of the stuff that they'll be doing with these like fucking 48 kilo kettlebells, and you're like, what is going on?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you build your way up. I mean,
Mm. Yeah,
you
it's
start from a place. I didn't start off just doing heavy stuff. I was just more like
mm,
kettlebells. All I had, so the pandemic, all I had was I think it was a 45 pound kettlebell for like the first 4 or 5 months, and we were like in lockdown. Like I had gym equipment in my apartment, but like I had one kettlebell.
wow, still got good workouts in.
Yeah, so what it was is I was still training some of my clients like outside. So
Mm.
I had one kettlebell and I had two dumbbells. So I
Oh
mean,
man.
it had to get pretty creative after because this was like we were out there from like March, I want to say until like August. We were training outside like every day. So even when it was cold, we were out there. So I want to say it was like 4 or 5 people pretty much every day. So you
That's
had to
a
be
lot,
pretty
man.
creative. You had to
Mm.
be creative when you're seeing people. You can't. I mean, I don't have the ability to go heavier, so it's like we just got to do different movements. We got to address different issues, and
Mm.
we were like on kind of like a runway. So we were doing like sprints and different lifts. I mean, we still got work done out there in an hour.
That's it, man. Like work's work at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Like fucking
Yeah,
intensity. Like,
exactly,
and if they're coming in and trusting in you, you know what I mean? Like following you, even with all the lockdowns
exactly.
and got to be outside and all that shit. Like, yeah, like you're gonna have to get creative. That's really
Yeah.
funny that you had to do that because uh
I thought it was fun though. I enjoyed it.
mm,
Because
I can
I was still working. I got a chance to get out of the house. That was like those hours was my time to just get out of the house. Because everything else was shut down. I was like, I lose my mind if I stay in the house all day. So I never really got into the virtual. I had like a couple of people that wanted to do virtuals, but like most of my people, they're like, let's go, let's still do it outside. And I was like, all right,
do it in the rain.
yeah,
Yeah, that was funny. Like I had the kid out. Like I've got like like a carport, so it's got a roof, but there's no fucking wall. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you can kind of just like slide your car underneath, but obviously the rain's still gonna get in. And I had to kit that out, and I started off with two dumbbells, three dumbbells. One of them was 6 kilos though, so you didn't really use it for anything. And then one kettlebell.
Yeah.
And I used to just take people out on the street. I was like, "Come on, we're gonna go run up and down on the street. Just don't get hit by a car."
You just gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, that's it, man. Get it done, right?
Yep.
Yeah, fuck. Yeah, I didn't have a headlight for a while, right? So I had a headlight, basically to light it up. So I had to go underneath the fucking lamppost to turn my headlights on my car. You know what I mean? Run the engine. I was like, oh man.
I was pretty much out of there by night because I mean nobody was really working anymore, so everybody had time to go throughout the day.
Yeah.
So I wasn't really working too much at night, so I was able to get away with that.
That was good. Have you had any like injuries that have ended up being helped by the kettlebells?
I wouldn't say like injuries. I would say like some mobility issues I had. Like I was very limited at the shoulders and the hips. Like I was very limited. Ankles as well. And I just was able to address it by just different movements. Just being able to drill these movements constantly. I've been able to just build up.
Yeah, the mobility restriction too, that's massive. I didn't even think about that. Like definitely like in terms of injuries, like coming back, all I did was using kettlebells just to address
100%,
limitations,
100%.
fucking weaknesses and shit. You can master too much of the bar.
100%. Stepping, and it's for me, it was just like doing things like unilaterally, doing a lot of unilateral exercises, just allow you to like really see where you're at. Because a lot of times when you're doing barbell deadlift and barbell squat, even if something's going wrong, you're able to push through it because it's bilateral exercise. So it's like I'm able to push through it. Like one side may be good enough, just enough to push through an exercise.
Yeah, for sure. Like, and you only start highlighting those issues and those weaknesses when you start ramping up the intensity, i.e. the weight gets like super fucking heavy, right? And then obviously the probability of you fucking yourself up goes up, which is not what you want to do
at all. No.
Yeah, for sure. Like it's when I came back from like a bad injury I had a few years ago, all I did was kettlebells. That's all I did.
I mean, it changes things. It makes you, honestly, I think more people should to spend like months away from the barbell and like really, it only makes you better. Like anytime I go back to barbell training, everything's just more smooth. I'm able to get through more lifts. That's no problem.
Oh, good, man.
Give me 1 second, guys.
Dogs are always welcome, man. Animals are better than humans.
Someone came in the house, so that's how they react.
What were you saying? Oh yeah, 100%. Like, unless you're in like a barbell specific sport, and I would still make the argument of.
And even then, I think you still
keep it in for the accessory, right?
Yeah.
It's funny trying to pull people away from the barbell when they're like, I want to get stronger, because you're like, well, you've got to first define what strength means, right? Rather than I want to get stronger in the three main lifts, whether it's SBD or whether it's squat deadlift and an overhead press, it doesn't matter. Like, you're like, well, it's the body's ability to generate force, right? So how are we going to be able to do that? We can use many, many tools to be able to do that rather than just a bar.
Exactly. And I think I've been able to follow more and more people because they see me and they're like, oh, he's a big dude and he's using kettlebells a lot. So I guess it's not as bad. It's not going to take as much strength away from me as I thought. And I do the things where I'll go back to the barbell and I'll show my lifts after like months of not, and nothing's missing. Like I'm still hitting the lifts as as strong as I was before. So now it's like it's drawing people out. Say, oh, maybe it's not. Maybe I'm not gonna lose as much strength as I thought I was.
Mm. Yeah, the only thing that's going to go is the skill of like moving the
Exactly.
bar again, and all you need is a few weeks to be able to drill that skill again, and then
Yeah, 100,
you're sweet.
100%. And it's not like you're not doing the motions. You're
Mm.
still doing the motions. You're just doing them in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always way more effective. Like my body works as a whole now when I go do a barbell deadlift. Before, things weren't firing, everything that needed to be happening was not happening. So I was making the making my body and putting my body in positions where I would not be successful with lifts just because I was limited in areas.
For sure. What would you say is your favorite movement with a kettlebell then?
I do a ton of rotation work. Like I
Ooh.
love rotational stuff. I feel like for me, because for me, like I was one of the biggest areas where I just lacked like rotation, like really lateral movements and like a lot of rotation. Like I just didn't have them in my programming at
Mhm.
all. So once I started to introduce that stuff to my programming, it changed everything.
Wow. Yeah, for sure. I mean, when did you play any sports?
I play football.
Yeah, so like the usually rotation doesn't come into it, right?
Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, in a way, yes, definitely, yeah, 100%. Like, not American football, not. So I played American football.
Mm.
It's a lot of different rotation stuff in it. Yeah,
Oh wow, that I didn't know. In the S&C stuff, that do they make you do a lot of like rotational work?
they don't with like the training of it, but when you're actually playing, your body's twisting and turning
Mm.
constantly. Like just getting tackled or making a cut or doing anything, you're constantly rotating.
Mm. It's strange how they've not put it into the programming. You know what I mean?
I think there may be some in there, but I don't think it's emphasized as much. Well, maybe it is now, but when I was in college, it wasn't as much.
Mm.
But I feel like the world of like fitness and like especially into sports is expanding. Like before, you would see athletes do some of the outrageous workouts. You're like, how does that translate? Now, more and more, you see them actually working on stuff that translate to the sport and not just like BS.
Yeah, I think it went through that stage, right, where it was like, oh, if I look good, I'm gonna be good at sport. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
oh,
Like so, we're way past that. We're way past that. Yeah,
yeah.
that's just. I hope nobody still thinks that way. That'll just be idiotic.
Mm. Like peak performance looks completely different from body to body,
Completely
right?
different. Oh, 100%. Like
And position of position, right? Like American football is a great example. Like your role in the team is like
exactly.
vastly different.
Completely different.
Like you're playing two different spots.
Pretty
It's
much.
it's crazy. Um,
Especially in the line of scrimmage where all the big linemen are. This is a totally different game than the guys play outside of the game. It's
mm,
like a game within a game.
mm. Just the big boys, the gladiators, right?
Yeah.
They're crazy. No, I never had the opportunity to play like an actual game of American football. But like I said, I'm from the UK. Like that, it kind of is gaining some momentum because obviously you guys are coming over. I think is it 2 games a year, 3 games a year in the NFL is now
I think
going
it's
in
like
London.
I think it might be they're trying to do two. They only did one so far. Like it'll be one, but they're trying to get it to two. Yeah.
Mm. Which is cool. Like
Yeah.
growing the sport, participation, advertisement, all that. Throw some money at it so
100%.
people have some opportunities to get involved, which is cool. But I don't know. It's never gonna get as big as it is over in the States, right? It's American
Oh
football.
no. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, but some rotational work. Yeah, I would definitely say to put in everyone's program, especially if they just train
100%.
right and they don't do any spots. Like everything is forward and back, and maybe
Well, it's
side to side.
Well, it's hard. It's hard to get people to understand the purpose of it. It's like more so. So like I'll give them for example, like when I can squat pretty heavy. I get on a barbell, and the rotation where people say, "How does the rotation come in?" I'm like, so when I'm about to lift whatever it is, whether it's 315 or whatever it is, how stable I am and how much my
Yeah.
body doesn't move.
Yeah.
That's being that's where it kicks in. At. Like there's not gonna be no movement. Boom, go straight up and down. Like that's it. Like other people, you see them, all the movement at the hips, they're not stable. Like they're not strong enough
Mm.
at that position.
Yeah. And if you're gonna, if you're gonna put yourself, you're a soft object, right? Human beings are soft,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then the ground is hard and the barbell is hard. So if you're gonna put a soft object in between two hard things, you want to try and make that soft object hard, right? Otherwise, you're
Yeah,
kind of fucked.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, improving that stability, I think, is paramount.
No, 100%.
Mm.
And it's tough though because as a trainer, you only get so much time with clients. Sometimes you don't see them as much. So like, and people come to you with aesthetic goals, like they want to look
Yeah, yeah,
a
yeah.
certain way, but then they come with you, they got shitty ankles, shitty knees, shitty hips, and it's like, bro, we need to address this stuff first. Like, there is some stuff you can get done with those limitations, but like long term, you're gonna hit a wall eventually. Like
Mm.
they're not gonna be able to squat the way you want them to squat to get the results from squatting. So
Mm.
it's like, all right, how do I address this and address what they want? So you kind of got to find ways to get this person in shape and reduce get their limitations to be better. It's like while making them happy and thinking that like they're pursuing.
Yeah,
So you gotta get what you want and get what they want. Because
yeah.
getting what you want allows you to get them further down the journey of like their goals. But they
Mm.
don't know that. All they know is like I'm a human. Like I can move. So I should be able to lose weight and do this to the maximum. But you hit a limit when you have limitations.
Mm. So how would you go about having that conversation with someone? How would you try and break that barrier down?
I normally don't. Like I always to me they're like sometimes it's not necessary to have because I know how by now I know how to construct a workout where I'll get what I want out of it and they get what they want out of it. So it's not even necessary to have that conversation. Like I'll address some things where like they're limited and I make it noted. Like, yes, we're working on this. But it's not even important because as long as they're pursuing and you're getting what you want out of it, it's fine.
Mm.
But there is some where it's like serious to the point where like we can't do certain stuff. Then you have to have a conversation and be like, all right, we're like really regress in this. So that's why it feels like we're not working out as much because it's like we really need to address this.
Mhm. Yeah, for sure. It's for some people, it's keeping them on a very tight leash, right? They just want to
Oh,
allow
100%.
themselves into a wall all day,
Oh,
every
yeah,
day.
because
Oh.
I mean they'll just get injured and they'll have to stop, which is like not the goal at all.
Mm. And that comes down to our responsibility to do that, right? Because then the whole fitness industry, coaches, trainers, or whatever, will get a bad rep because it'll be like, oh, I had this one person one time
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I got
definitely.
injured. It was like, no, like realistically, it was you who left and did 15 million other things and
Exactly.
slept 5 hours a night.
And that's what people gotta understand. When you hire a trainer, you're not like they're not solely responsible for your life now. Like
No.
everything that happens, you can't just put on a trainer. And I always let people know, like if I'm seeing you twice a week, that's 2 hours compared to the other 6 days where I don't see you no hours. So it's like it's a lot of time on your own. So anything that happens outside of these 2 hours is all on you. It's not on me. Like I
Mhm.
can kind of give you the guidance and kind of give you structure to succeed. But at the end of the day, like I don't really know what you're doing. I'm not gonna text you all day long or call you. Like I'll check in with you, but like I'm trying to be your trainer. I'm not trying to be your mom or dad.
Yeah, man. Like it's quite funny in it, the expectations, because they'll pay for an hour, right? Yeah, okay, cool. As we know in the industry, you've got a program before you get to the hour, right? So that's a little bit more work. And then obviously you got to check in because you care about these people. So then that's a
Yeah.
little bit more work. So now it's like maybe 2.5 hours, okay, for that hour's worth of pay, right?
Yeah.
And then they're expecting, oh, I'm going to send him a text message at 9 p.m. at night and he's going to reply to me. I'm like, hold on a minute. I'm not on call.
Yeah. So I try to keep boundaries with that, but I got a decent set of clients right now, so I'm pretty good at keeping the boundaries with that. So I don't really have those issues anymore. But you have those ones that are like more needy than others.
Hmm.
Sometimes they work. I'm like very straightforward on how I am with people. So once we start, you're gonna either really like training with me or you're gonna hate it. And
Yep.
the ones that like it stay. The ones that don't, they leave.
I think you got to be straightforward with people, and
You
you
have
know,
to
experience will
because
teach you that.
you are because at the end of the day, you came to me for a reason, and I'm trying to help you get to that reason. Anything else is like, what else? What are we doing?
Mhm. Yeah, for sure. Like, I know some people like to hire someone to help them because they want a friend. You know what I mean? They want someone
Yeah,
to push the
and that's
blame
cool,
off
and
to.
that's cool, and that's fine. Like I see some trainers, I mean, the goal is not to become a therapist, but I will talk to you about what's going on with you. But like, as long as we're still working, like I don't care what we talk about, as long as we still working.
Mm,
When the talking becomes too much of and less of the work, it's like, all right, at some point, the value of talking to me is not going to be as important as the value of working with me,
mhm,
like for my training knowledge.
mhm,
It's like like if a person stopped training with me, I normally can figure out why by just through the sessions. It's like, what do
mhm,
we do through those sessions? Did we progress? How good was I programming for them? Did I talk to them too much? And it's like, all right, like stop talking so much. If you like, let's get work done. Because when you're getting someone results, they're not gonna leave or stop training with you because they're getting results, and the results are always there.
mhm,
But when you're spending time chatting with them or doing whatever, and you may be helping them through some stuff, but all right, now they're through it and they don't have the results that they came to you for initially. It's easy to walk away from that. It's hard to walk away from somebody that's been getting you to your goals.
mhm.
It's like it's a little harder because you're constantly because the thing about setting goals is you never stop setting goals. You never get to where you want to be. You always create new goals as you go on.
Mhm.
So you're going to continue to want to work with this person to get to those goals. But if you're just talking the whole time after you talk through that problem, and now you may be in a new relationship, you're happy. You don't need this person anymore. So it's like, all right, I'm all set.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. And like progress is addictive, right? You know,
It
they
is.
even if they get towards one of their goals and don't even accomplish it yet, they're gonna get fired up, because of that. And they're gonna be
100%.
like, whoa, let's keep going. Like he knows what he's talking about.
Exactly.
Let's keep going.
All they need to do is see that you you are who you say you are, and you can do what you say you can do.
Hmm.
That's it.
That's it. That's a fitness game right there.
That's it. That's it.
Completed it, mate.
Yeah.
So how did you get on this journey, man? Like why are you in the fitness industry?
So I played college football, and I was always into working out, and I was always into just building up and like figuring out who I am. And I really feel like I figured that out through fitness. Like working out is like the hardest thing for me. Like some of the workouts I've been through, some of the challenges I've been through, I've always went back to working out, and
Hmm.
being able to work out and get to a workout always made me feel better, regardless of what I was doing.
Yes, sir.
So I got into it, and as time went on, and I realized how much it made me feel better, I was like, oh, like I could do this for other people.
Mm.
Obviously, it's not that simple, but some people, once you give them advice, it started from just giving people advice, just from asking and seeing me work out, and I was like, oh, like I can turn this into something. So you start to study and you try to get your first. Even after you get your certification, it doesn't make you a trainer. Like there's so much other stuff that comes with it. Like yes, you're good at taking a test, you pass the certification. Doesn't make you a trainer.
Hmm.
There's a lot of people out there with certifications that I wouldn't consider trainers. Like they may have certification, but till you put the hours in of constantly working with someone and constantly figuring out how to help someone and actually wanting to help someone, and you're not a trainer. Because some people do it like, yes, they do it for the money. They do it for all this other stuff. But like, you got to actually wake up at 5 a.m. to want to help someone and like show up and be there constantly. And if you do it every day for years, that's what it's about. That's what putting the work in. Some people don't do that. They just like, oh, I want to make X, Y, and Z. And initially, you get into it. Like I started when I first started training, I was making like $9, $18 a session. Like you gotta love it when you're getting paid that little. Like you
Yeah,
gotta
man.
really be passionate about it. You gotta be passionate about it. And I was passionate about it to the point where I was fine with it. I was like, all right, at the end of the day, I'm getting paid to do something that I enjoy and I'm helping people. It doesn't feel like work to me. Like I'm just helping people do what I do with myself.
Hmm.
And I'm talking about something all day long that I actually love. Like I love fitness. So I get to talk about that all day. It
Hmm.
didn't matter that I was making $8, $9 per session because I wasn't at a 9 to 5 job where I was talking about something that I hated or I was talking about something I didn't like. That's a different perspective. Like that would be like miserable to me,
Hmm.
even though I would have been making money, making a lot more money doing that stuff initially than I was training. So, I mean, you just go through the motions of it. And all I knew was I loved to train and I could help people. I didn't really care too much about the money piece. Obviously, the money started to come as I started to take higher jobs. But even then, like, all right, now I'm making money for it. What keeps you in it? It's like the joy of it. Like the money is not gonna keep you. I'm making the money now, and the money's not an issue.
Hmm.
What keeps you in it? What keeps you getting up at 5 o'clock to go train someone? What keeps you working 10 hours a day? So you got to really like these people that you're working with constantly because they got their stories, their mood swings, whatever. Everything is put onto you, and all day long, you don't really get a life. Like outside of that, like you get home, say you get home 7, 8 at night. You gotta wake back up at 4 or 5 o'clock to get ready for work.
Hmm.
Like so, you got to be really committed to it and like really enjoy it to stay in it.
Mm. I totally agree.
And it's a lot harder than people think it is. Like people are like, oh yeah, it's because I got a lot of friends that work in a lot of different industries. And I don't think they like frown upon like being a trainer, but it's not as respected as like a corporate job. And I never understood why, because it's like a job is a job. Like
Yep.
especially when the job is something you like. Most people that work in corporate, they do not enjoy it. Some people do, and I mean, good for them. But most people that do don't like it. They enjoy the money they make. They enjoy the status symbol. But like for a while, like the trainers, I think trainers are being more respected now. But like it just was always something that was seen as like, oh, you work at the gym. And I never understood what that means. I'm like, okay, like, all right, yes, I work at a gym.
It's like the whole frowning upon like blue collar workers, right? And
Yeah,
laborers. You're just like, what do you mean? Why are you frowning upon that? We all have our part to play in society, right? Like,
exactly. And it's all about to me it's more so about it's all about helping people. Once people figure out like we're put on this world for other
hmm.
people,
Hmm.
like people don't understand that. It's like, what's the point of having other people here if we're not here for each other? And like if you're not in a service business of helping someone, well, then what are you doing? Like then what is I never understood that. Like what are you doing if you're not servicing and helping someone? But that's like one of the biggest things I think people need to understand. Like we're really here for each other.
Yep.
There's people I don't like, but there's people that I work with, and there's people that I see constantly, not understand. Like I'm here to help this person or whatever. Like otherwise, why did I meet this person?
Hmm.
What's the point of me interacting with them if I can't learn something from them or they can't learn something from me?
Hmm. We're all walking, talking lessons, right? And
Exactly.
the fact that you know some individuals, or, think whatever you want, fine, but some individuals will believe that the world stops at the end of their nose. You're like, how
Oh
arrogant
yeah,
do you think?
it's crazy. It's crazy that it's just. I mean, that's America, especially in America. It's like it's worse. I'm pretty sure it's worse here than it is there. It's like insane.
Maybe, man. Like I've only ever like visited Florida
Oh,
for
okay, okay.
I think less than 2 weeks, maybe 2 weeks. I don't know. And other than that, I've never really been to the States. And I was a right young kid, so I didn't really get the feel of the place.
Oh yeah. I
Uh,
mean, yeah, it's a lot of that here, but there are also a lot of people, a ton of people that understand like that whole concept of being here for other people.
Mm.
Any business you start, anything you start as a job, it's to service people, whether
Yeah.
you like it or not. Like I'm not big. I'm not a people person. Like I don't love individuals because I study people a lot. So I think a lot of people are full of shit, and I'm probably right. But so I just try to group myself. But I'm also a people person in another way because I work with people constantly,
Mm-hmm.
and I enjoy the people I work with. So I'm my people person. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm not I wouldn't turn my face to a stranger, but I'm also like slower to get to know people. Like I'm not interested in knowing people that I can't do anything for or can't do anything for me. And it's hard to like look at someone and think, like, how do you know that? You don't. It's more about how you get to know them. When you get to know someone, you see who they truly are. You know whether they're one of your people or not.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, yes, I'm not a people person, but I am when it's my people.
Yeah. It's really funny that you say that because I use that term all the time. Like, must be at
Yeah,
least like 3 times a day. I'll be like,
yeah,
because one of the people that I coach and he's also a good friend of mine. He told me, I was like, man, you just got to find your people.
yeah. That's it. Like you just gotta find your people,
I was like, oh,
and
okay, yeah, okay. And something clicked. You know, you fucking read something or hear something and it clicks in your head. I was like, oh, that makes sense. And
it
yeah,
might
that's
not be a
it.
lot of people. It
Yeah.
might not be a lot of people, and that's fine. But I mean, they're your people. There's people you count on, people that can count on you, and people that you trust,
Mm,
and the people you understand to be who they are, and they understand you to be who you are.
mm,
Like if you ask 4 or 5 different people who I am, you might get like 4 or 5 different answers. Because I
mm.
have four different relationships with different people.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I know
sure.
how to play my role as in those relationships. And they may tell you that they look at my perspective on other people and they'll tell you I don't like people. But that's because they see me with them and they're my people. So people that aren't my people, it's a whole different game.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Totally. They see,
Because I don't wait. Go ahead.
oh, I was just gonna say that they see different masks.
Oh, 100%. And it's not even like a fake or like a mask thing. It's just like I'm very closed off to around environments I don't feel comfortable in.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it makes seems like I don't like you, I don't know, but it's all about I don't know you. And even if I've been around you for a while, I still don't know who you are. Because if I did, I either like you or and we're close, or I don't like you and
Mm-hmm.
we're not close. So I'm not even around you at that point. So
Mm-hmm.
if I'm still like closed off and closed guarded around you, I'm still trying to figure out who you are and like what role you play into my life as a friend, as a whoever you're trying to be.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like more so I'm still figuring out. Otherwise, if I don't go into environments that I don't feel wanted or I honestly don't think I value people in. Because like I mean, there's good people and there's bad people. Someone that's good to you may be bad to me in the sense of I just had an interaction with them that I didn't think I needed to continue to be around that person.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes to other people it may seem like, oh, I'm like I don't like this person. But in the end of the day, it's just like I don't get anything from talking or not talking to them. It's like it doesn't change anything in my
I I completely agree with that logic.
life.
And
I mean, if more people should have that logic because I know so many people that hang around people that in reality they're so different, and it's just like, why do you want to be friends with everybody? It's like it's
it
just
drains them,
draining.
right?
It's like more draining than anything because like,
Mm.
what do you get? You're not getting anything out of it. More so, they'll get something out of it. So it's like, what's the point?
Mm. And they end up getting drained, don't they? And it makes them cynical and they start hating things. And you're like,
Exactly.
just just throw it to the side, man. Just keep fucking going.
Exactly.
Yeah, I read something the other day where it was like, you can't change people. All you can do is figure out whether their behavior is something that you'll tolerate.
That's it. That's it. People are who they are. It's just about like it just goes back into like, are you one of my people?
Mm,
And I know how my people act, and I know how my people move, I know how my people talk, and I know how I interact. It's either you're one of them or you're not. It's like I
mm,
can't make you one of them. Like your actions show whether you're one of them or not, and
mm.
you just move. You just
It's
move from there.
And it's like it's nothing to say anything bad if they're not. You know what I mean? It's just
No, 100%.
like, hey,
It's just not
two plus two doesn't
a.
equal five. You know,
Yeah, exactly.
like
Like
let's
you
just
like
fucking
red,
keep
you
going.
like red. You like red. I like green. Like
Yeah,
it's different. It's different. It's like that doesn't make me hate you. It's just it makes me understand. Like, all right, I don't need to be around you
I
because you may
think
trigger me. You may do some stuff to me that's not good for neither one of us. So it's like, what's the point?
I think that's the most important like point of like most people are like, oh, then I'm not benefiting from it, so fuck them, like they're a bad person. You're like, wait,
Yeah,
hold
yeah,
on,
yeah.
no. Like
And I
there's
was
like,
like that for a while. I was like that for a while, and it came off as like so much hatred, and it's like what's that's just putting too much energy into it.
mm,
And because in actuality, you're saying the same thing. It's like you're just not one of my people. You're just doing it a little more aggressively. But honestly, that normally comes once they did something to you or did something that you really didn't like. But even at the end of the day, still the same outcome. It's like
mhm,
they're just not one of your people. So
mhm.
there's no point of being aggressive about it. That's just like a waste of energy. I learned that early on because I was like early on, it'd be like, oh, this person, that person. I'd be like, oh yeah, fuck that.
Fuck them. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, but now it's like, what's the point? It's like I don't even care enough to even say that. It's like there's too much energy. Like that's giving people way too much power over your emotions. Like, all right, it's just like it's whatever now. It's like he's just not one of them.
yep,
It's
yep.
fine.
Like, cool. Enjoy yourself. You know, like you do you, man,
Exactly.
and I'll just keep it on, doing my thing.
Exactly. Exactly.
So I got a question I usually ask everyone because I'm absolutely obsessed with this question, right? Of like, what's the greatest piece of life advice you ever received?
That's a good question. I don't know. I'm trying to think because I don't like again, like I never really seek out advice, but I do get a lot of advice from like clients, whether it's like business wise or like life wise. Um, okay, so I got it. Stepfather told me once what his father told him. Whatever you do, be the best at what you do. If you're gonna fail at something, like fail all the way. Like don't half-ass or fail. If you're gonna succeed at something, succeed all the way. Whether it's being, and his logic, he was just talking from a standpoint, whether it's being you're alcoholic, be an alcoholic. Like don't half-ass it. Like you know what I mean? In a sense of like, if you're gonna do something, do it all the way. So when you're done with it, you know you're done with it, or you know how to address it. But if you're like kind of in it and you're not kind of, you'll never get out of it because you like had one step in, one step out.
Mhm.
And it's like, all right. So whatever you're doing, just do it 100%. So that when you're done with it, you can walk away from it or you can keep doing it. If it's something that's successful wise and you keep doing it, then it's good for you. But if something that's bad for you, you know you've done enough of it so you can be done with it.
Mm.
So
And that
that's
relates to
probably one
so
of
many
the
different things in life.
so many different things. So many different things. I just used the alcoholic thing or the drug addict thing because I guess we were talking about something that related to that, and he just used that as an example.
Mm.
But 100%, you'll never be able to know what you're doing unless you're 100% doing it. You can't just be kind of doing something and just be like, "Oh, I kind of want to stop," but you don't really know because you're like kind of in it and you're kind of not.
Hmm.
So it's like, it's iffy. I don't know.
Moderation's for cowards.
Yeah, yeah. It's like you're gonna do it.
Yeah.
Like it's like people that you find people that are like they're like you may call someone an asshole, but it's like they like kind of in it. Like they're nice to you sometimes and they're assholes sometimes. It's like,
Hmm.
dude, just be who you are 100%, so I can know how I need to move accordingly. Because if you're an asshole, I'm gonna get rid of you. I'm not gonna have you around. But
Hmm.
you nice sometimes and you asshole other times. It's like I can't really decide
Hmm.
what I'm trying to do. You know what I mean?
For sure. I'd agree with that. I like it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna use it. What about what about the worst life advice you've ever received?
I don't know. I feel like I'm always able to take something from something.
Mm.
I don't think I've ever got bad advice because no, I mean, there's some advice I didn't use, but I don't think I've ever gotten bad advice because I'm even if I didn't like it, I may have learned something about you by just giving me the advice. I'm like, why would you say something like that?
Mm.
That was dumb. Now I'm questioning how you view things based on what you told me. So I always get something from something. So I don't
That's
know if I received bad advice before.
that's important, man. Getting something
It
from
is.
something, like learning from every experience and everything said and done to you, like that's really, really important.
Yeah, big time.
Mm. Okay, last two questions. 3 words you'd say to your younger self.
3 words.
3 words.
Don't waste time.
Oof.
I feel like a lot of a lot of my like journey and a lot of the like things I felt that from like high school to college. It all came back to me just wasting time. Me thinking like, oh, I could do this later. Whether it was homework assignment or like whatever it was. I was like, oh, I can get back to this at some point. And I always wasted time. And it just held me up because I ended up having to go back and do something that was supposed to already be done.
Mm-hmm.
And then that stopped me from being able to do other stuff. And that just slow you up on your journey. Like I feel like right now, I feel like I'm behind on my journey because I didn't complete some stuff that I should already completed.
Mm-hmm.
But I should already be at some of the goals I created for myself. But I procrastinated and I took too long, or I was lazy, or I just wasn't working out. It was just different stuff that I allowed to hold me back. So I was just telling myself, don't waste time.
Mm. That's deep, man.
Yeah.
I like it.
I like.
So I'm gonna flip it on its head. 3 words you tell your future self.
Uh,
Oh,
yeah, they can be in here. Tell my future self. That's a tough one. I don't know. It's a tough one. Give me a second.
that's okay. My cat usually jumps on and presses a lot of buttons, but I've kind of locked her out.
All right, sorry about that.
Oh no, give over.
That's a tough one though. Future self. Keep doing you.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah.
Don't waste
Yeah,
time.
I feel like
Doing you.
I always feel like I was big on that. Like I got into getting out of college and getting into different things. I got into ruts. So like I'm gonna try people because people got something to say when you don't do it their way.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like I'm gonna try this both ways. Like, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do it their way. Then they still had something to say. So it's like, all right, I might as well do it my way because they don't talk about it either way. So it's like I might as well be happy with what I'm doing and I feel not feel like I'm giving in to someone by doing it their way. And I learned that by working at different places, at different gyms. And they have like, I guess kind of like, how do you say it? I don't know what I'm trying to say, but they have like ways they think things should be done. But there's other ways to get it done. And
Yeah, yeah.
I've always been the type like, I'm gonna do this my way.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I've tried it. I've done it both ways. And when you do it your way, they don't like you because you're an outcast. And
Mm-hmm.
you do it their way, then you're like brainwashed. You're like, all right, I'm not doing it. I'm gonna do it my way. So that way I know I'm happy with it. And if the job's getting done, there's no problem. Nobody messes with you when the job is getting done. No matter how much you do it. People may talk about you. They might dislike how you're doing it. But if you're doing a job and you're doing it well, they only can say so much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Like I'm definitely the same individual. I'll
Yeah.
analyze something and be like, oh, okay, well, have you thought about it this way? But like, oh
Yeah.
no, we only do it in black and white. But it's like, well, the world's full of color, man. Like
100%. It's like
there's many ways to do
what's the
this.
saying? Like there's 1,000 ways to skin a cat or something. Isn't that how it goes or something?
Yeah,
Oh, they
there's
don't use
many
that
ways
one
to skin a
anymore.
cat. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're
Hey,
like,
same thing. I mean,
I'm getting the job done. Like, but I'm saving time.
exactly.
Like, no, you've got to do it this way. I was like, oh, I'm sorry, I can't work here.
But people don't like when you do it your way because then now you're like arrogant. You think you can figure out another way to do it, but
Yeah,
we told you to do it this way. It's like, yeah, but what if that way doesn't work for me? Like I tried it that way, and that way slows me down. That way it makes me feel small. I don't want to feel small. I'm gonna do it my way. You know what I mean? So it's like all about, and that's why I don't have beef with like corporations and stuff like. I have issues with different companies that make it. They don't put an emphasis on helping you grow. Like their emphasis is on helping their company grow.
yeah.
But what they don't understand is if they help you grow and you feel like you're growing as an individual, you'll be thrilled to work for them and build a company.
Mm-hmm.
But if you, after a while, and you see you only helping them grow, you'll be over it pretty quick.
For sure. Like
But
you've got to be able
it's
to.
not a lot. It's not a lot of emphasis on that. I mean, you don't see it much. That's why a lot of people are getting to doing their own thing now because it's like even within a company, I feel like you only can grow so much. Like you'll never be the CEO of that company because that's just not how it's set up. Like that's unless like that's you'll never be the owner because that's just like at some point, yeah, you'll reach your ceiling in a company, and it's just like, all right, where do you go from there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm big on like I'll help out a few other coaches, right? So I'm a head coach at one of the gyms here in Christchurch, and like I'm big on putting them on a ladder and not in a box because the box has a ceiling, right? I want them to be able
Yeah,
to keep climbing that ladder and ultimately just keep going and just elevating themselves as well as everyone else around them, right? I'm like, I don't want to put them in a box because like they will end up fucking hitting that ceiling of the box and be like, well,
100%.
what do I do now?
Exactly, and it's tough because as a someone that's runs a company, say like in the owner's shoes, like you only give somebody so much opportunity to grow until they outgrow like the company in a sense. But from that standpoint, like you will be more understanding as an owner. You like, when someone comes to you and tell them like I'm gonna take this job or do this, you'll understand it because you watch them grow from the bottom to the top, and you're like, the only step now is to step out.
Yeah.
So, but you groom that. Some people don't groom it. They make it so you don't continue to grow because they don't want you to leave. Because now they have to rehire and do the whole process all over.
Yeah,
And you
man.
find more of that than anything.
I mean, look at the structure of everything, right? It's just to keep people down.
Exactly.
You're like, nah, that's not how we do shit. That's not how human
Nah,
beings are supposed to move. Like we're an adaptive organism, right? We're supposed to be able to learn and adapt from it. It's like we can't just be the
exactly.
same fucking thing. No wonder like people mentally are in the dumps because it's like they're doing the same shit, getting the same
Mm-hmm.
result for
Same
like
result.
40
It's
years.
like it'll drive me crazy.
Yeah, I'm already crazy. It'll send me fucking
And that's why it's tougher with people and like the training business and like that workout constantly and that continue to want to build things on their body. I feel like people that are the most successful people to me that I know have a workout schedule, have
yeah.
a healthy eating routine. They have this stuff because when you have this stuff, that means you value life at a different perspective. So you don't most of those people don't stay in jobs they don't like too long because that's just how their mind works. Like
Mhm.
when you're that regiment on your workouts you're eating, you like structure it to the point where you decide what's best for you as far as food, workouts, whatever. So it translates to your life. So you start to decide like, is this job good for my health? Like, am I X, Y, and Z? Is this doing X, Y, and Z for me? If it's not, I'm moving myself to this point. It helps with relationships. Is this relationship good for my health? This relationship good for my schedule? Whatever. And you
Mm.
just continue to decide on things what's best for you. But that happens when you're fluent in a workout, fluent in structured eating, because now like the big picture matters, like your health, because that's what
Mm.
it's all about. Your health, your overall mental, physical health, everything else is surrounding that, whether it's food, job, people, everything else is about your health.
Yep.
And it all comes back to that. So if none of that stuff is good for your health, you have two options. You either keep doing it and you let it like destroy you, or you get rid of it.
Hmm. Yeah, that's it, man. I think focusing on your physical and mental health gives you more than just, healthy mind, healthy body. Like it's the discipline
Exactly.
and all the other shit that you learn along the way. It's the people that you meet and the lessons they teach you. It's everything. It's everything.
100%. Because you can't be that disciplined in one aspect of your life and not the others.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I try to get my clients to be like workout addicts, because I think it translates into like life. You become a life addict. And when you're a life addict, then you really are disciplined in everything you do, the decisions you make, the places you go. Everything is structured around what's best for me, what's not best for me.
Agreed. So agreed, brother. I really appreciate your time, man.
No problem, man.
I really appreciate it. Like it's a beautiful thing to be able to connect with people on the other side of the world and be able to have conversations and see someone else's perspective, right? Even if it's like the same perspective as mine. Like
Yeah.
it might, it just shows I'm not the only crazy motherfucker out there. So I appreciate it.
No problem, man.
Yeah, man. If you ever I don't know, what, in a holiday, needing a holiday or allowed out,
Yeah.
and you want to scoot on down to Middle Earth down here in the bottom right hand corner, like fucking hit me up and I'll make sure you sorted.
All right. Sounds good, man.
Easy, man. Take it easy.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Take it easy. No problem.
Peace.